What do you get when you combine a top-notch high school culinary program, experienced chefs from Pocono Mountain resorts and restaurants, a heaping portion of local food, a dash of community spirit? Add in a supportive school district and mix it all together in an entrepreneurial kitchen incubator and event space. Why, Chefs on Fire, of course.
One of the things that happened prior to the pandemic was we were supposed to work with Wally high school kids on a restaurant night for the kids. They were going to run the front of the house, back of the house. We were going to sell tickets and make it a restaurant here. Unfortunately, COVID ended those plans, and I'd say probably 3 months ago, my partner Jay and I were, sitting around here talking about, what can we do here? How do we help some of the people in the market who were devastated by this, right? Like that, we're trying to run restaurants. They're trying to get into the restaurant business, and knowing that we had that relationship with Clay at Wallenpaupack, I reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in doing some sort of competition, a to-go night? For the kids to come to the kitchen and do barbecue, and we'd sell tickets and people could vote on it, and he loved the idea, and it sort of steamrolled from there.
So one of the things that's fascinating to me about this whole project is the level at which the community supports its children, in this case through the schools. There was nothing that the community members who supported this event wouldn't have done for our kids. It's one of the hallmarks of this community is how community supports its students.
This inaugural event brought together private, public, and community partners to raise money for the Wayne County Community Foundation's Emergency Food Relief Fund. Students from Wallenpaupack's Culinary Arts 3 class, under the supervision of Chef Lewis, were tasked with preparing meals from the best barbecue regions in the country. To prepare for this challenge, the aspiring chefs worked with 3 of the area's top chefs to gain some industry tricks and tips in preparing mouth-watering cuisine. Their first stop, a visit to the Inn at Woodloch with Chef Dan Corcoran. Following a tour of the expansive kitchen facilities, Chef Corcoran discussed the best way to approach the project, highlighting the best equipment and techniques for preparing their menu. A week later, students met with Chef Caleb Johnson, owner and chef at Native, a restaurant quickly rising in the ranks of top eateries in the Poconos. Here, the students experienced firsthand how to prepare one of Native's signature dishes under Chef Johnson's direction. The last stop on the tour was at Here and Now, a top restaurant and brewery in Honesdale. Chef Ben Cooper prepares his menu using as much locally sourced food as possible. Today, he received half a pig from a local farm and shows the students how to break down the meat and the best cuts to use for the dishes on his menu. Following the experiences with the local chefs, the students had to break down the menu and figure out the quantity of food they would need to produce 70 meals. When approached for the event, Dave Super Duper donated almost all of the food for the menu. To graciously support the event, the week of the event quickly arrived. The food was delivered, and with the help of the students in other culinary classes, the young chefs started the work of preparing almost 30 different items on the menu under the watchful guidance and training of Chef Lewis. The final stage of meal preparation was to take place Thursday, April 15th at the Hop Baron's Kitchen in Honesdale.
So we have Hop Baron's, which is our barbecue spice and rub company. We've been around since 2015, and we make a different line, a variety of barbecue rubs and seasonings. And then we also have Hop Baron's Kitchen, which is the space we have here.
The kitchen space was created to serve local entrepreneurs and incubate food-based businesses, as well as hosting small events. Only one task remained: how to transport the food from the prep kitchens in the high school to the Hop Baron's Kitchen. Remax Wayne, a local realtor, volunteered the use of their box truck for the day. In a flurry of activity, preparations are completed, and the day of the event finally arrives. According to Chef Lewis, the day of the event is when the magic happens, and it's her favorite part of the process.
You know, you can plan an event, and as a past caterer, that's what you do. Sometimes you book events a year in advance. And so you spend that year doing other things, of course, but that event is always on your mind. You're always looking at that menu. And the day of the event, you're right, that's where the magic happens. That's where all of that prep, all of that work, all of that thinking comes into fruition in the form of really delicious food. And then we get to serve that food to the public. It certainly is where the magic happens.
Everything is packed and prepared for transport on the truck, driven to Honesdale, and unloaded at the Hop Baron's kitchen. The plan for the day involves packaging individual meals to be picked up at prearranged times throughout that evening. The first pickup start at 5 p.m., so the student chefs have 5 hours to package 50 meals consisting of over 30 menu items. Each meal features 3 regions, and news soon follows that the event is sold out. The first region featured is the Piedmont and Low Country. The menu includes barbecued pulled pork with a Piedmont sauce, hush puppies, sweet potato steak fries, coleslaw, Low Country tomato pie, stuffed zucchini with Parmesan cream, Carolina red rice, black-eyed pea salad, soft rolls, and pickles. Memphis is next on the menu with bacon-wrapped meatloaf and gravy, smashed red potatoes, Memphis Minnie's pot liquor greens, grilled corn with chive butter, macaroni and cheese, smothered leeks, tomato cobbler with ramp aioli, 5-bean salad, soft rolls, and pickles. And last but not least, the Texas Hill Country and the Golden Triangle, with Texas-styled smoked pork ribs with straight-up barbecue sauce, creamed corn and ramps, potato salad with house bacon and scallions, cowboy beans with burnt ends, fried pickles, red bean jambalaya, mock show, macaroni coleslaw, tomato and scallion salad, and of course, soft rolls and pickles. The chefs that mentored the students prior to the event arrived to support their students and taste the final results. But there's one more step before the food can be picked up. A celebrity panel of highly skilled taste testers, including Mike Silsby, superintendent of the Wallenpaupack Area School District, Ryan Jennings, executive director of the Wayne County Community Foundation, and guest chef Keegan Marchand from the French Manor Inn and Spa, evaluated the meals to give them their final seal of approval.
The kids did an outstanding job. Everything is delicious. I really can't pick a favorite because it's all great.
I am just so proud of these kids, and I'm so full because everything today was delicious. I had no idea that we would get so many options of things to taste, and I loved all of it.
Everything from the homemade bread to the ribs. I think it's all amazing, and you can really tell that they're having fun.
Pickup time finally arrives, and the meals are delivered to waiting cars. As the event winds down and the cleanup begins, a group of very tired chefs begin the process of cleaning and packing up. So was all the work worth it?
The community has raised almost $4,500 to go to the Wayne County Community Foundation's Emergency Food Relief Fund, which is purchasing local dairy, eggs, and produce from our farmers and putting them right into the homes of communities that need a little more support right now.
It was a very long event. It took a lot of hours to do, like within one day. And at the end of the day, we just were very proud, and whatever we had left over, we just gave away at the end also. And it's definitely something that like will inspire you.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, so it's like a culmination of like all my years here, kind of like all of the things I've worked towards all in one night, so that was pretty nice. And then people besides myself enjoyed it too, so it wasn't just me benefiting. And so at the end of the night, we got to give all the leftover food to the community that's in need. So it was nice to actually like get a learning experience from it, and then the community benefits from it. So it's like a 2-in-1, I guess.
I had a blast. I know my other senior classmates had a blast. This was definitely something that I think we should keep on doing. I think everyone can benefit from this. And I just, thank you to everyone that made this happen. It was definitely the highlight of my senior year.
If you missed the Chefs on Fire event this year, no worries. We hear there are upcoming events being planned to transport you and your taste buds to exotic locations around the world without ever leaving the Pocono Mountains.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Collins with Davis R. Chant Realtors. With over 50 years of serving the Lake Wallenpaupack region, Chant Realtors sells more homes by volume than any other realtor in the area. The Lake Wallenpaupack area is an attractive place to live because of its low taxes, great school districts, and beautiful scenery. Agents at Davis R. Chant Realtors have an extensive knowledge of the local market and experience with everyone from first-time home buyers to experienced investors. Chant uses a variety of print media, billboards, open houses, and national websites to promote properties and reach buyers. We work with sellers to put together a thoughtful but aggressive market plan tailored to each home individually. Here at Chant, we know that working together and providing channels of communication and feedback is important for the best outcome when selling your home. We provide a unique feature called Seller's Dashboard to our sellers, which allow you to view up-to-the-minute online information about your home, including how it is being marketed, how often it is being shown, and notes from agents and buyers. If you are ready to relocate, upgrade, downsize, or know anyone who is considering the Lake region, please stop by or call Davis R. Chant Realtors at 570-226-4518 or visit us online at chantre.com.
In recent years, the United States government started releasing information on unidentified aerial phenomena, also referred to as UFOs, performing aerial maneuvers that far exceed the current capabilities of human technology. For those of us living in the Pocono Mountains, unexplained aerial phenomenon is just part of life in the Poconos. And throughout history, stories have been passed down through generations of strange lights in the sky, flying objects, and contact with other beings. For centuries, extraterrestrials have visited the Pocono Mountains of northeastern Pennsylvania, not just for its world-class outdoor adventure, but for its abundance of natural resources and water. In fact, the first civilizations may have come from somewhere other than Earth. The Lenape people, who lived along the upper Delaware River since the beginning of history, believe that man inhabited the heavens and the Indians descended from the stars to live here on Earth. The name Lene Lenape literally means the original people. Lenape legend is based on thunder beings who lived in the sky and came to Earth on the wings of birds with great thunderous noise and fire. One Lenape story is about a man who visited the thunder beings on a high column of steam, returning several days later, bringing knowledge from the thunder being. Other legends involve magical little people of the forest and giant beings that were generally benevolent but could be dangerous if not respected. In addition to these beings, often described in similar ways as alien visitors today, the Lenape had contact with powerful sacred medicine spirits who gave them medical knowledge in their dreams. It wasn't long before people from beyond the seas began to arrive on the shores of this country. Early sailors reported strange lights and objects in the sky that they could not explain, and early Pocono explorers wrote about wilderness encounters with unusual beings in their journals. And as Europeans began to settle in the new land, stories of strange objects hovering in the sky above villages and towns, floating balls of fire, and visits from angels were commonplace. In time, the American colonies grew and sought to establish their independence from Great Britain. Throughout the Revolutionary War, there were reports of objects in the sky hovering over battlefields. And during the Battle of Minisink on the Delaware River, a story of a large silver sphere hovering above the river near the battlefield was passed down through generations of local families. Following the war, the Delaware River was used to transport coal, stone, and lumber downriver. The best-known UFO story was about a local lumberjack surveying the Pocono forest for valuable timber when he came across a strange craft pulsating with glowing light in a forest clearing. As he approached the object, a bright flash of light blinded him. He was found by hunters 6 days later, wandering through the woods, but could remember nothing from the last week, where he had been, or how he had survived. It wasn't long before the young nation found itself once again at war. The Civil War broke out, and a number of sightings in eastern Pennsylvania increased, with reports of objects hovering over battlefields and following troop movements. Following the Civil War, the Poconos grew into a summer vacation capital of the Northeast, with people fleeing the hot urban centers for the cool summer mountain breezes of the Pocono Mountains. Several boarding houses in the late 1800s to the early 1900s were known for being the best locations to observe the magical and strange objects dancing in the mountain skies. Occasional newspaper reports in the early 20th century referred to objects in the sky, unusual beings in the woods, and unexplained livestock deaths in the region. These were often dismissed as local folklore. The number of unexplained flying objects increased during World War I and World War II. The appearance of Foo Fighters, unexplained orbs of light following military craft and appearing over battlefields was the most reported and viewed UFO activity at the time. Similar objects were often seen over industrial centers such as textile and glass factories in northeastern PA. In the decades following World War II, the Pocono Mountains was a growing honeymoon capital of the world, and communication channels evolved and increased the ability of people to report unusual sightings. But new technologies also increased the number of hoaxes that were perpetrated on unexpected people. Hoaxes, along with the government's denial that UFOs exist, created a social environment where people were hesitant to report or discuss aerial phenomena for fear of being considered crazy or easily fooled. Since the 1950s, after the term UFO became popular, weather balloons, commercial air traffic, missile and rocket launches, satellites, space stations, and experimental aircraft resulted in a number of explained sightings. However, the number of unexplained objects in the sky increased as well. A few of the sightings that made the news in the Poconos included the fall 1956 account of Mrs. D residing in Milford in Pike County. At 9 p.m., she took a flashlight to see if there were deer in her yard and discovered 2 spacemen standing 150 feet from her, next to her garden. She described them as being 3 to 3.5 feet tall, dressed in tight silver suits with helmets, and were of muscular build. Long cigar-shaped objects were reported flying over the Tobyhanna Army Depot during the day on October 29th in 1956. The object was large, wingless, moving at high rates of speed, approximately 3,000 to 5,000 feet in the air, stopping in mid-air to hover over the Army Depot. In May of 1957, Mrs. Frances Stichler went out to feed her chickens in Dingman's Ferry just before dawn and saw a silver saucer-shaped object 15 feet above her barn, making a soft whirling sound. She observed the object for over a minute before it disappeared over a nearby hill. A flying saucer was seen flying through the Delaware Water Gap, heading north along the Delaware River in September of 1957. 40 circular objects were observed flying around Sailor's Lake near Stroudsburg at 500 to 2,000 feet in the air. They were seen by 11 residents and a state trooper on March 1st in 1973. The same UFOs returned to Sailor's Lake on March 21st and were later seen by people as they traveled through Northampton County and western New Jersey. A Pocono man reported seeing a green fireball moving across the sky. The sighting was confirmed by airline pilots, and there was no evidence of it being a meteor or space debris. The last sighting of the object was in Maine. Many of the objects in the Pocono Mountains are described as orange, green, or red orbs, triangular, circular, spherical, or boomerang-shaped craft. Each year, the National Unidentified Flying Object Reporting Center logs hundreds of calls from the Poconos. Hotspots appear to be around Milford, Stroudsburg, Dingman's Ferry, Bushkill, Mount Pocono, and Lord's Valley. The team here at Wally Life regularly observe unidentified objects in the skies over the Pocono Mountains. But don't just take our word for it. Visit these sites for more information on reported sightings in the Pocono Mountains, both identified and unidentified, and see for yourself. The truth is out there. The Sterling Business and Technology Park is currently divided into 23 lots ranging in size from 3 to 30 acres. Each lot in the park is KOZ certified for companies that qualify. The Sterling Business and Technology Park is perfectly located just off Exit 17 on Interstate 84 in northeastern Pennsylvania, just under 2 hours from New York City. If you would like to explore locating your business at Sterling Business and Technology Park, visit sterlingbusinesspark.com.
So, you want to know what this whole Freedom Boat Club thing is all about? Simply put, we're a club that makes boating, well, simple. Here's how it works. You join the club, you pay a one-time membership fee, and then monthly dues from there on out. And instantly, you get access to a fleet of boats. As a member, their entire fleet is at your disposal. All those things you imagine boating to be suddenly become reality. When you're done, you simply head back to the dock where the boat club staff will be waiting. Leave the boat with them, and that's it.
It's opening day of trout season in Pennsylvania, and the banks of the Lackawaxen River are lined with the hopeful. Anglers are here for their first catch of many.
First day, I usually be out here about twice a week, when I ain't doing nothing else.
Tim Austin baits his hook with night crawlers, sometimes shrimp, and has really taken to the sport.
I love being outside, It's a good thing to do, Because of the pandemic, instead of being stuck in the house, get a chance to get out, see people.
Within a few hours, he caught a few trout. A successful day on the river in Honesdale. For generations, anglers have been catching the big one at spots like Lake Wallenpaupack and other fishing holes throughout the region. Fishing has been tied into the Poconos fabric for many years. McMichael's Creek was the spot after the PA Fish and Boat Commission stocked it with trout early in the season. A couple thousand fish all at once.
These fish that you're seeing us stock today are, although the streams are still very good quality streams, they don't have a large production of naturally reproducing trout.
Families headed out for a day together, outside in the sun. Lila, Frabel, and Dad making memories to last.
We take lots of pictures. Mom always requests lots of pictures, and we always post them up. Usually on Instagram, we'll tag Pocono Mountains. And
after all, it's a sport you can enjoy at any age, from the moment you can hold a pole.
So tell me what it's going to be like when you catch a fish.
I'll be happy.
And even when you make the catch of a lifetime like these guys did on Lake Wallenpaupack in the 1980s. The fish is on display at the Lake Wallenpaupack Visitor Center. It's also where you can rent poles and tackle boxes for free. Yes, for free. Now, most times you need a fishing license if you're over 16 years of age to cast your lines, except on 2 dates in 2021. That's Sunday, May 30th, and Sunday, July 4th, Independence Day. Both are Fish for Free days in PA. No matter your needs, PoconoMountains.com has you covered. Just search for fishing. It's an activity that gives back more than it takes.
It's like a mental health day, getting away from all we've been dealing with this past year. So to be out in nature, breathing the fresh air and seeing people smile, it's a good thing.
Bill Dahl from Scioto has been at it for many years. He knows the best spots for fishing across the Poconos.
Yeah, there really is. You have the Pocono Creek, you have the McMichaels, you have the Broadheads. Bushkill's a beautiful creek. The Little Bushkill's a beautiful creek. Saw Creek's a good creek. And there's several lakes that are very good.
Whether you catch any or just get to experience a day spent fishing in the Pocono Mountains.
I did it!
Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
One of the most interesting events to take place in the Lake region is the historic Civil War Encampment. Every year, living historians travel to the Columns Museum in Milford, Pennsylvania to recreate a Civil War camp and bring history to life. Other highlights of the day included military drills and the addition of the African American Civil War troops.
We are here demonstrating what camp and military life would have been like during the years 1861 to 1865. We have people demonstrating infantry, we have people demonstrating cavalry. We have a unit from came up from Philadelphia portraying the 3rd U.S. Colored Troops, which is pretty interesting. We don't usually get to have that perspective out at reenactment, so it's great having them here.
United States Colored Troops, Civil War reenactors of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And of course, we try to go everywhere that we can possibly go to tell our stories. We really believe that if we don't tell these stories, they won't be told and people will not know.
This event features Civil War era tents, rifles, pistols, uniforms, cooking utensils, and even a field desk used by the commanding officer while in camp. The reenactors kept audiences engaged with period stories and song.
Ready? Aim! Fire! Load! Everybody's talking about ain't nobody going there. Heaven, heaven. Hurrah, hurrah, here comes the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, this flag will set you free.
Tune in to Wally Life every Monday at 9 p.m. on Blue Ridge Communications Channel 13 for the latest in life around Lake Wallenpaupack.